What's up, guys? UFC 298 happened last night. I'm still thinking about it. Let's talk about it. Roman Kopylov versus Anthony Hernandez. The fight pretty much played out how I thought it was going to play out. I did think that Anthony Hernandez was going to pressure Roman Kopylov, try to work him up against the cage so that way he could go for a single or a double and get Roman Kopylov down and do work that Anthony Hernandez is known for at this point. He's known as a guy that if he takes you down, he's a wet blanket that weighs about 1 million pounds. And he just seems to wear on guys. Early on, Roman Kopylov was doing pretty good, throwing some pretty good kicks, pretty sharp, very technical kicks and punches. Not really landing anything significant, but showing the difference in striking capability. Hernandez kind of just came forward with a jab and then a straight. Didn't really come forward too much. It was more about pressure for Hernandez. And that pressure wore on Kopylov because in the second round, Hernandez eventually worked Kopylov up against the cage. He was able to get the double. He took Kopylov down, got into position for the rear naked choke. Wasn't able to get the choke on the first attempt. However, he was able to readjust, get his arm underneath the chin of Kopylov. And then it was night-night Kopylov. Great win for Anthony Hernandez. Looking forward to his next matchup. Henry Cejudo versus Merab Dvalishvili. This fight also played out pretty much how I thought it was going to play out. I didn't think there was going to be so much domination on the end of Merab. However, in the third round especially, he just showed that there was a different level between him and Cejudo. He picked Cejudo up, got the slam. Cejudo tried to go for a takedown. Merab just held him there and punched him in the stomach. Just showed different levels as far as where they're at in their careers. Merab is still very hungry. He's still got all of his physical capabilities, including stamina. He showed improved striking too, at least as far as like effective. His punches looked like they had a lot more pop in this fight against Cejudo, which is another really good thing because if Merab can start hitting fools and hurting fools, the man is just an absolute nightmare. He's already scary because of the insane amount of endurance he has and all of the different techniques and all of the different things that he's going to throw at you all the time. Mixing it up with the grappling, mixing it up with the striking, going for a takedown right after a combination, and then in the proceeding of that takedown, backing out just to hit somebody in the stomach or just to frustrate someone even more. Merab is a very scary fighter, and I pretty much expected him to win every round of the fight, or I thought the first could go to Cejudo, and the first did go to Cejudo. Cejudo came out very strong. He landed a couple clean punches on Merab too, got a nice takedown. So I would give Cejudo the first round, but I want to say like early 1/3 or mid second round, you could really start to see the switch, and that's when Merab started to take over. I thought he won the second round. He clearly won the third round. Great job from Merab. I think he becomes champion one day, absolutely. Doesn't matter who he fights. I think some guys will present a problem to him. I think Chito Vera isn't really going to do much against Merab, and I don't think Sean O'Malley is really going to present too much of a problem against Merab. I think anyone early on obviously has a little bit of a threat to Merab, but as the fight goes on, it just multiplies in Merab's favor. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if he gets a title shot or if they make him fight a winner of one of these other bantamweight fights that's coming up, but who knows. Paulo Costa versus Robert the Reaper Whittaker. Oh my gosh, I was so happy that Robert Whittaker won this fight. This was a scary fight. For most of the fight, Robert Whittaker looked like he was pretty much under control. He was landing a lot of blitzing jabs, blitzing straights, blitzing overhands, doing really just solid calf kicks. Destroyed the lead calf of Paulo Costa, which was very smart because it stopped a lot of the aggressive pressure that Paulo Costa is known for. I do think that Robert Whittaker won rounds 2 and 3. However, I did give round 1 to Costa because of that spinning heel kick. I mean, the damage done from that was immediate. Robert Whittaker was on his way to getting finished, I think, personally. The minute in between rounds really allowed him to recover. In the second round, he came back and did work, went back to the game plan of attacking that leg, blitzing in. just showed the difference in striking capability. Paulo Costa is very fast and powerful. You can tell he's a very fast and powerful guy, but he doesn't flow super well. And he's also kind of stiff when he's just standing there in between strikes. And that's where Robert Whittaker was really able to pick at him and hit him. Not a lot of movement from the center line from Paulo Costa. When you're fighting a guy like Robert Whittaker, you have to move. You can't just stay stationary. That's tailor-made for him. He's just going to circle around you, wait on the outside, deflect, move away from your punches and kicks, and then he's just going to come in and do his thing. He's going to come in with his blitz and constantly stay right just outside of range and just blitz you down if you don't have a little bit of fluidity and movement, if you don't have the footwork to get to him, which Paulo Costa was just hoping to back him up against the cage and then land a really hard strike. Now, to Paulo Costa's credit, he had some nasty-looking kicks in that fight. His kicks are really good, especially his lead left kick or lead body kick. Very, 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 very good kicks from Paulo Costa. But Robert Whittaker ultimately got the decision, which I think was well-deserved. And I couldn't be any happier. We'll see what happens for Robert Whittaker. A fight with Adesanya could be really good. He could rematch Jared Cannonier. A lot of options for Robert Whittaker. I don't think he's going to get it to fight for the title. He'll probably have to fight another fight and get another big-name contender and beat them before he'll be in talks for another title shot. But I would like to see Robert Whittaker have one more run at the title and see if he still has it. Sorry about that. My low battery warning was coming up. But yeah. I would like to see Robert Whittaker take one more shot at the belt and see if he still has it. Geoff Neal versus Ian Garry. Whoa. That fight played out a lot better than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be actually a pretty boring fight. I thought Ian Garry would move and kind of just, not tap, but just like pick at Geoff Neal. I didn't think he would really go at him like he did, throwing a lot of knees. And then he would try to throw that knee up the middle, and then he was coming with that elbow right afterwards, which I thought was really good because, you know, the position that Geoff Neal was in after the knee, it was just perfect for Ian Garry to shoot that elbow over. Good body kicks from Ian Garry. Geoff Neal showed a lot of strength in the clinch. You could tell his game plan was to get Garry up against the fence and then to hurt him with dirty boxing or to hurt him on the break as Ian Garry was stepping away from him, trying to break away from him. And there were a couple times where he did catch Ian Garry pretty good, but Ian Garry showed a decent chin in this fight. He didn't catch anything super duper clean because he's always moving backwards or trying to move out of the way. But Geoff Neal was throwing legitimate heat at Ian Garry, and he threw in a lot of leg kicks. Ian Garry did have to eat some pretty tough leg kicks. You didn't really see it bother him too much. As far as Ian Garry's offense, you know, he threw a lot of leg kicks. He threw a lot of body kicks, which I think was a very smart investment because with a guy like Geoff Neal with so much power, who's really strong like that, you got to take something out of him. Otherwise, they are going to wear on you with that amount of aggression. So good work, good stuff from Ian Garry. I did think he was going to win the fight. And I would love to see him fight Colby Covington. I think he finishes Colby Covington. And I think that that's probably the next fight the UFC will make if Colby Covington wins his next fight. Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. Guys, this fight made me sad. I was going to do the UFC 298 recap right after UFC 298 last night. But because Volk lost the way he did, I was too sad and I just couldn't do this video. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Ilia Topuria finishes Volk in devastating fashion. Catches him with the right hook. Knocks him down. Gets on top of him and hits him a few more times just for good measure. And Ilia Topuria is the new featherweight king. Man, I just don't even like saying that. Volk started off pretty good. He was throwing a jab, trying to disorient and just keep Topuria from gaining any type of rhythm, because Topuria is very much a rhythm fighter. Sometimes it might look like Topuria is just coming forward looking for that hard shot, but Topuria likes to get in a rhythm where he moves where he slips and then moves into position to punch. And Volk was doing a really good job of throwing inside leg kicks, jab, coming over the top with his own straights. Just doing a really good job of working at Topuria, giving Topuria a lot to think about, so he couldn't get in his own rhythm. But Topuria himself was landing a lot of hard shots. He was throwing a lot of very, very heavy leg kicks, which I think if the fight would have went on, that definitely would have affected Volkanovski's offense, because those were some heavy, heavy lead leg kicks that he was absorbing from Ilia Topuria. I did give the first round to Volkanovski. I thought he won. I thought he did good enough to win. I believe the fight was finished in the second round, which was pretty dang close. You know, both guys were landing strikes on each other. No one was really hurting each other. Ilia's punches obviously looked more dangerous, as the way he throws them, kind of the leverage he has and the amount of power and torque that he puts into him, his punches just look harder. And the effect, Volkanovski was backing up. So whenever he'd get hit, he'd, you know, back up more. So I say Topuria was probably landing the harder shots. So if anyone was going to give the round based on points to anyone, I think Topuria was slightly ahead in that round. But he ended up getting the finish anyway. Stalked Volk, got Volk up against the cage after throwing a combination, went in for a left hook, dropped Volk. I think Volk was trying to throw a punch too, and I think Ilia kind of went under it and then nailed Volk right on the chin. Really sad to see, but I think Volk will get a rematch after all. The legacy that he left in the featherweight division is undeniable, so I think that they will rematch. I'm not 100% certain on who I think will win at this time. I think I'm going to go back and watch a lot more of Ilia's older fights to get a better gauge for my prediction on who will win the next fight if they do fight. But, you know, I believe in Volk. I think he'll come back strong. I just don't want to see my guy get finished again. I really wish he would have waited longer to fight after that head kick from Makhachev. But I believed in him. I believed that even though it was a quick turnaround, I still thought that, you know, he could get it done. He's Alexander the Great, but every great champion eventually falls. We'll see if Volk still has it, if he gets a rematch against Topuria, or if they line him up with another featherweight contender. That remains to be seen. But anyway, guys, I really enjoyed UFC 298 other than its conclusion. Obviously, I wanted Volk to win, but still, overall, I liked it. I would give the overall card, I would give a 7 out of 10. In the main card, I would give an 8 out of 10. Anyway, guys, hope you have a good day. Peace.